Hey yo, what is going on guys? Cash and Clean here, and for today's video I just wanted to talk about the PTS for a little bit because there has been a couple more things that have been added. Now this isn't going to be like a super long video, and in the gameplay you can just see me farming in the new biome, not really the new biome but the new area, and it's just mainly me just trying to look for a 5-star dungeon. While that's happening, I'm going to go over a couple things that have been changed. Now there's a list of things that got changed, but I'm just going to go over the important stuff. And there is no patch notes for this, but I'm just looking at the PTS notes in the Trovosaurus Discord server. But basically there's a few more things that have been added. So the main thing here is that they increased, well, they tapped in increase twice here, but basically they increased both of the low and high end tier rarity gear for the stuff that's dropped in Uber 12. So like the new area that you can see me farming in. And what that means is that if you guys didn't know, stellar gear didn't really have any tiers. There wasn't any levels to it. So you could have Shadows level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was Radiance, there was Stellars, and then you would go into Crystal, and that would go all the way up to 5, which that's what it is right now. But for whatever reason, they have Stellars like that now too. So Stellars can go up to 5, and I'm pretty sure Radiance as well, and everything else. So I'm not really sure what the idea behind the level of the rarities are, but I guess that's a thing now that they added to the game. And it's nothing really too fancy, it's just gonna say the certain level, you're gonna get like a little bit more power rank, and some people were able to get this from fighting enemies. I got mine from the chests when doing the 5-star dungeon. Now you don't really have to do this from the 5-star dungeon, but you can get these rarities basically anywhere as long as it's in U12. Although on the patch notes it says U12, I'm actually kind of curious if you can get these in other places as well, but I'm not really too sure. Either way, it's nothing too important. And then the next thing that they did is that they increased the payout for the surface depths cache. So the 5-star dungeons, if you beat the 5-star dungeon, there's a chest at the end that spawns. And then same thing with the delves, so every third depth there's going to be a shadowy vault. So it's basically just saying that it's going to increase the payout. Now when I tested this, I was still able to only get the 2 depths core, and that was with the sparkling key. So I would imagine that it's going to be like a little bit more, but it seems like everything is basically the exact same. I'm not sure if that's going to change when it goes to the live servers, but the fact that we don't really get many of these sparkling keys at all per day, I feel like we should get at least a little bit more depths core, and then maybe a little bit more of the other ones from delves. Because if you are trying to max out every single class, you will need a ton of these. If you're unsure about what all that looks like, you can check out my last video on the PTS. I basically just go over everything you need to know about that they added in this update. And apart from those, there's a couple more things that have been added, so we'll just get straight into that. So another thing that they did is they fixed an issue that would prevent crystal gear from dropping in this U12 area. So if you didn't know, you would farm here for as much as you could. The highest you would get was a stellar, and when I was farming in there, I don't really remember getting a stellar, but maybe I have gotten one. But now you can actually get crystal gear in there. And if you're curious about what this does with the crystal 5 drop rates, I actually have no idea, but I would imagine that it's a little bit better than farming them in U11, because if you guys tried farming the crystal 5s from Geo Topside, the 5-star dungeons over there, it is extremely rare to get a crystal level 5 over there. When the update first dropped, it was a little bit more common, and then at some point they made a patch where they made it super rare to get them. So now I'm kind of wondering if they did that on purpose because they were going to bring in this U12 stuff, and then just maybe we can get crystal level 5s a little bit better, because if you didn't know, you kind of need crystal level 5 now, because if you take that to a forge, you can actually upgrade that to a mystic gear. So that's going to be a brand new gear. At the moment, nobody knows what the stats are, but once I do get the information on that, I'll be sure to let you guys know. And the final thing that I did want to talk about is the increased health and damage values for the Uber 12 area. So enemies are going to be stronger, they're going to hit a little bit harder, and once this goes to the live servers, it's going to be extremely laggy. So you guys want to try to pick a character that you can actually farm with. I usually farm with Shadow Hunter, but I'm just not going to use him for this update because I feel like even though he's pretty fast, he can also do pretty good damage, but it's just overall not going to be as good with the lag, especially with the Chris skulls because the enemies kind of scatter around. So I'm probably just going to farm with Boomeranger. And then other classes that are pretty good are Revenant, Solarion, so stuff like that. Things you can farm with the lag. And I know I said that that was the last thing, but I did want to talk about one final thing. So I'm not sure if this is confirmed, I'm not sure if this is actually going to happen, but just in case, I want to let you guys know in case it actually does happen. But it seems like there have been a couple dragons added to the Trovosaurus that got accepted. Now, I'm not sure if this means that it's a mod that got accepted. I'm not sure what this could mean exactly. It seems like they're going to add 3 more dragons to this update, and I'm just going to put up screenshots of them right over here. You can kind of see that they're similar to the current dragons we already have, at least some of them, and I don't really see them really fitting with this update, but I'm really not sure if it is a possibility or if they actually are adding new dragons. And I'm curious about what you guys think about that, so let me know in the comments down below and what you think of these screenshots here, because if they do add new dragons, I'm guessing we're going to need some of the newer resources, and just farming these new resources are going to take a very long time. Maybe not super long, because I would imagine that a lot of people are going to be farming in this new area, so there's going to be a ton of groups, a ton of 5-star farms. But either way, there's a couple new dragons, deadlines. Now, don't quote me on it that it's actually going to come out. I actually have no idea. I don't really have any info on this. And if you're wondering on when this update is going to drop, I'm going to guess towards the end of June / early July, but I really have no idea. Anyway, that's going to be all for today's video. If anything else drops from the PTS, I'll be sure to let you guys know. And if you didn't know, I'm going to be on vacation, so if something does happen, I'm going to have a pretty scuffed setup, but I will be sure to try to get you guys the latest and newest update, all the news for everything you need to know. But as always, thank you all for listening, watching, viewing, and subscribing, and I will talk to you all later.